G'day guys, welcome to tonight's workshop. My name is Dr. Craig Knight. I'm from Carolina Family Spine Center. And tonight we're talking about March Madness, exercise and sport, and chiropractic and what they all have to do with each other. March Madness is a wonderful time of year. I know as a graduate from North Carolina that the basketball season is where everything and everyone sort of culminates this big national championship run. And March really does bring some madness. And there is some madness when it comes to all sports and exercise. And tonight we're just going to walk through in regards to, what it has to do with our types of exercise, our types of sport, and then how chiropractic can fit into everything. So, just buckle up, get set, and we'll get going. First off, I just want to start off with, about talking about it's time to move. We talk about the fact of how people need to be moving all the time and exercise and how important it is. But less than 5% of participants within the United States participate in 30 minutes of activity each day. You know how we always say about how 30 minutes a day is one of the biggest things that we have to try and get out and do. Only 5% of us actually go ahead and do that. 1 in 3 adults receive recommendations about physical activity from the US Department of Health. Inactive adults, we know the fact that there's a lot of problems that go on with them, with early death, diabetes, stroke, hypertension, depression, a whole many different things. But the biggest one that we're starting to see is the fact of what it does to kids. Nearly a quarter of children from 5 and up have plaque already forming in their arteries just from exercise. So it is time to move. All right. Now, the fact that 60% of 15 to 19-year-olds had plaque building up in their arteries supplying the heart is an alarming stat that we're starting to see in regards to things. So it's such a huge thing about getting up and moving. Now, it can be a sheer laziness thing, it can be a sheer timing thing, but the fact that these stats are so alarming, it's really starting to take a massive drain on our society and the cost mechanism that's associated with it. I mean, you can see the stat here, less than 3 in 10 high school students actually get consistent physical activity throughout the week. Now, we think of high school students as being fit and active and always, on the move with everything they're doing, but the physical activity side of things, they're not actually doing. And lastly, we're looking at childhood obesity has doubled and adolescent obesity has tripled in the past 30 years. That's such an alarming stat when it comes down to it. The fact that childhood obesity leads to adult obesity, and we're doubling it at the children rate and we're tripling it at the adult rate, which is just such a huge thing. So it really is the time to move. What we're looking to see here is our physical activity guidelines for Americans. Now, this was thrown out by the CDC in regards to things about where each demographic and age group should be in regards to their physical activity. Now, it's a lot. It really is. They're broken down by 3 to 5 years old, 6 to 17 years old, adults. How much do we need? Intensity, all that sort of stuff. It is a lot. As you can see here, pregnancy and postpartum has its breakdown. Adults with chronic injuries and health concerns and things like that. The laundry list of things is just so overwhelming that people start to throw their hands up. And that's when they try things like fad diets, the things they see on TikTok, stuff like that. So tonight, I'm just going to really try and break it down and show people how and why these types of exercises can help, different variations, things you can do at home, and then different ways that you can start to incorporate this. And then finally, what it does to sport and the effect of sport related, and then what chiropractic does in order to tie that through. So we're talking about exercise. Now, exercise is essential. Now, I had a chiropractic teacher in school, and he said to me, motion is motion and life is motion, okay? Exercise is one of our fundamental essentials, but we sometimes put on the back burner because we're tired, busy, we're just not feeling it. So tonight, we're going to make it really, really easy for everyone. As you can see from the diagram just here, physical inactivity leads to metabolic dysfunction, which leads to metabolic disorder. That's pretty much saying the fact that don't get up and move leads to your body shutting down on itself and then your body ultimately failing on itself. And so what we're trying to show is the fact how easy it really is when it comes to exercise, how to get it in there, what it does to your body, and how you can affect it. Now, there's a lot that goes on in regards to the nutrition side of things, which is a whole other topic that we're going to be looking into. But really, we're just looking at what the actual motion sort of mechanism is and to try and get you engaged into exercise and how it can help. Now, one of the biggest things that we see is the fact that there's a lot of myths out there, okay? Now, one of the biggest myths that I always hear in regards to trying to be active as much as I can is that exercise will make me healthy and fit. That right there is a straight up lie, okay? Exercise does not equal health. As you can see, fitness describes the capability of the body to distribute inhaled oxygen to muscle tissue during increased physical effort. So your fitness level is literally just about the ability to take air and get it to a muscle if we are exerting more energy. That is to be fit. So some of the terms that people hear in regards to it is, in a sporting context, for instance, you can be fit or you can be match fit. Now that could be in relation to, say, you can run the mile in 6 minutes, but when it comes to, say, playing basketball, you have to dribble, defend, shoot, jump, react, all those things. Your match fitness isn't quite up to your actual exercise fitness. Now, when I'm saying the truth behind it being that fitness does not equal health, the definition of health is really defined as a state of complete physical and mental well-being. Now, fitness, as you can see from the top definition, is describing the fact of just being able to breathe and put it to a muscle during increased energy. Now, that seems like everyone can do that. So everyone would be fit, right? If that was the case. However, not all of us are fit. So what we're looking to try and equate to is the fact that is that exercising will make us healthier, and the fact that it will make us fitter, yes, first, but it will make us healthier after that. Another myth that we sometimes see is that a little is good, then a lot is better. This leads to people to believe they need to exercise for hours on hours on hours for results. It makes them be disgruntled to begin with to even start, let alone the fact of trying to get out there and try and perform, let alone get the results. So they think they have to be out there for that 60 minutes like those guidelines mentioned. To me, that's a myth. We're looking for the truth in the matter. So with the fact of it being with those guidelines from the CDC saying that you had to get 3 times a week for 30 minutes, 2 times a week for 60 minutes and things like that, it's not the fact that you need to be out there for hours and hours, it's how your body is going about it and what we're going to be doing. I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. Lastly, one of our biggest myths that we see is that if it doesn't matter how hard I work out because I have bad genes. Genes don't make you healthy. Genes don't make you fit. All right. The truth of the matter is the fact that genetics is a loaded gun and your lifestyle pulls the trigger on how that works. Inactivity, all right. So we were talking before about the fact of having bodily inactivity flips the genetic switch to dysfunction. With that being the case, that will then process into metabolic disorder. Exercise encourages normal gene expression. Exercise encourages health. Exercise will encourage fitness and health. So the fact is we're trying to get healthy, we're not trying to get fit. That's one of the biggest takeaways I want people to understand tonight is the fact that we want to get healthy, we don't want to get fit. And that definition of health, remember, is the complete understanding of well-being by mental, physical, and emotional health. All right? So how can we do it? How do we go about it? Well, there's 4 ways to do it. There is the anaerobic exercise, the aerobic exercise, flexibility, and balance. Now I'm going to break those down in regards to how those exercises work and then how each of them will have their benefits and what needs to be done in order to show you an example of that or things you can do at home. So we'll start off with the aerobic exercise. Aerobic seems to just mean the fact that you're doing it with oxygen or requiring oxygen. So examples of this would be you're swimming, you're cycling, you're running, you're walking, anything that requires oxygen. Now, it sounds a bit silly in regards to saying that because everything takes oxygen, right? Well, the ability to have to require oxygen to progress forward and to exert yourself is why it becomes aerobic. And it's measured upon the fact of how the intensity level is in order to gain success. We use a bit of an equation for that. So what you do is you take 220 minus your age times by 70% or 0.7 gives you your beats per minute. This is your high end of your heart rate or your beats per minute. That is the maximum amount that you want to go to in regards to trying to get exercise or fitness into your lifestyle. So you never want to cross that path. You want to maintain it as you get there. And that's why you see sometimes if you go to the gym or if you talk to any personal trainer, you'll see different colors of those heart rates. And you want to say, okay, I want to get the fat burning zone or the high intensity zone and things like that. That's when you start to see those break down in regards to where your beats per minute is sitting in regards to it. So some of the benefits of aerobic exercise: it increases metabolism. Now, metabolism is the fact of you breaking down and utilizing the things in your body for energy. So I'm sure you'll remember someone in your life that has been able to eat as many things as they want and never gain a pound, right? I can think of a fair few people in my life that I can think of right now that do that. So increasing your metabolism is a huge part, because it will break down those things in your body in order to turn them into energy, and then turn them into a energy source, which will then go into exercise, into fitness, into daily living, into sleep, because you need energy to sleep, to work, to do anything. It also increases blood flow to the brain and alertness. All right, people say that they feel better after exercises because endorphins are released. So it's going to increase the blood flow to the brain and alertness, and increase the ability for your body to start to stimulate itself in a happier way. It improves cholesterol levels. We learned last month in regards to our last month's workshop about HDL and LDL in regards to your cholesterol, how cholesterol is actually very important, but it is a necessary thing to distribute between HDL and LDL, the good and the bad. So it improves those levels. It improves digestion, the bodily movement in regards to what's going on with our bowels. Exercise will help facilitate that. It also boosts the immune system. All right, there's a reason why that when it becomes dark and cold and dingy in the wintertime, that we don't want to exercise, because our immune system is then affected. And so, based on the fact that if you get aerobic exercise into your lifestyle, it will boost your immune system in regards to battling when it comes to those nasty bugs and viruses and things that go around. And lastly, it reduces stress levels. I talked about our endorphins and the good feeling vibes of the hormones that we have in our body. They're really, really important for when you exercise. I know for the fact that after going for, performing any exercise with myself, when I'm spent, for instance, from doing that exercise, I still feel really good. I believe that my brother told me this one time, where it was the hardest part about going for a run was putting my shoes on. And he was right, because when I was doing it, I was feeling good. It was tough, but after I was finished, you feel great. So it reduces your stress levels and allows you to feel good in regards to what's going on. Now, I know running isn't for everyone, okay? So that's why I've been talking to a friend of mine who's come up with this bit of a plan, all right? So this is from a really good friend of mine. His name is Brow Ezekiel. I have his details at the end of the presentation, and he is a certified personal trainer, also a CrossFit trainer too. So showing us an example of low impact aerobic exercise. So he's giving me a bit of a warm up. I warm up for about 2 to 3 minutes doing 10 lateral arm raises. That's literally the starting point, okay? So it gives you a bit of a brief warm up, and then breaks it down to regards to what you're going to do. So simple sort of example that you can see here. As you can see just in the video to my left-hand side, you'll see 10 lateral arm raises. Next, you'll see 10 good mornings. So that's pushing your neck into your hands to maintain the curvature. Next, you can see just here in the description, it says 10 wall or modified push-ups. So as you can see in the example just here, using the wall or a modified push-up to show to warm up. Afterwards, 10 body squats. So something simple is just bending down, as you can see in the video down here, the fact of bending down as low as you can without trying to force it. Simple little warm-up that you can do. Then for the next 20 minutes, you're going to be doing an exercise for 1 minute each, and you'll rest for 1 minute after completion of the circuit. So something as simple as low impact jumping jacks, as you can see in the video just down here. Skaters, squat into a jab, standing oblique crunches, lateral shuffles, and reverse lunge front kicks. Now, as I said, each exercise for 1 minute, and then rest for a minute after completion of the circuit. And so you're going to be doing that circuit 3 times in order to get to that 20 minutes. It's as simple as that for low impact aerobic exercise. And that is, as I mentioned before, to increase your digestion, increase your metabolism, reduce stress, increase alertness to the brain, get blood flow to the brain, the rest of the body, increase lung capacity, all those things that aerobic exercise does. Now, the opposite of aerobic is anaerobic. It's exercise that breaks down the glucose for energy without using oxygen. Now, as I said, everything needs oxygen, right? You need to breathe. You need to breathe to do anything, really. and the fact that, but you need to be able to break down, but it's not using oxygen for the energy, it's using glucose. Now, generally these activities are shorter in length, but they're higher intensity. So the first thing people think about is CrossFit or circuit training or HIIT workouts or P90X or I believe it's F45, or you have Orange Theory, and you have multiple different things there. But it's also weight training, weightlifting, strength training, things like that. Again, using the same fitness equation, 220 minus your age, but this time we're going to times it by 90%. So it's increasing it. We're doing it for a shorter period of time to get longevity out of the results. Now I'm going to show you what that means in a second. The benefits of anaerobic exercise is very similar. It increases the metabolism, so breaking down what we eat for energy. It allows us to take down those things easier, quicker, and perform them out to energy rather than store them. Increase our bone density, improving the good cholesterol and our HDL. It builds muscle mass and increases our endurance, because knowing the fact that we're doing it for short bursts of time. And it actually continues the caloric burn after the exercise. Now, as you can see in the slide just here, the afterburn effect versus your classic cardio versus your EPOC, I'm going to describe what that is, of your metabolic afterburn conditioning. As you can see in the classic cardio, you can work out for an hour, and then your EPOC, which is your excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. As you can see, you use a lot of oxygen in regards to classic cardio. Now, what you can see here is the fact that in regards to a afterburn conditioning, so that's your HIIT workouts, your P90Xs, all those things I've described, you can see that the EPOC lasts way longer and at a much higher rate in regards to a longer time frame of come down versus the classic cardio, meaning that you will continue to burn calories after exercise, more so than after a run where you just immediately stop. Well, it actually continues to burn after the fact. That's why weightlifters, when people lift weights, is the fact that they continue to burn those calories off in regards to when it comes to weightlifting, you see a more metabolic burn after the fact rather than during it, because your body is still burning all those calories off afterwards. So here's an example again from my friend Brow of an anaerobic exercise. So again, the same warm-up as what we did before. So that's 10 lateral arm raises, 10 good mornings, 10 modified push-ups, and 10 body squats, again, as low as you can without forcing it. Now, the exercises that you can do in regards to anaerobic exercise are things like burpees, butt kickers, commandos, mountain climbers, skipping, high knees, things like that. Now, Brow has come up with this idea of a peak 8. Now, it's a common concept when it comes to the HIIT workout world. What it is you can break it down to 10 minutes or 2 minutes. 10 minutes or 20 minutes. I wish it was 2 minutes. But what you can see here is our peak 8 workout. So, utilizing these exercises I just described, so it's your burpees, your butt kickers, commandos, mountain climbers, skipping, high knees. For a 10-minute exercise, you exercise as hard as you can for 20 seconds, then you recover for 40 seconds. Then you repeat 7 times. Now you can interchange these exercises, so it can be 20 seconds of burpees, recover for 40 seconds, 20 seconds of butt kickers, recover for 40 seconds. All right? Or you can choose to do just one of them. So what they could be is you could do burpees for 20 seconds, recover for 40. Burpees for 20 seconds, recover for 40. Burpees for 20 seconds, recover for 40. You understand what I'm trying to say? That is your 10-minute peak 8 workout. So that's technically going to be for 8. The reason why it's peak 8 is because you're peaking your exercise, or your burst limit of your exercise for 8 different sessions or 8 different times. The 20-minute one is you warm up for 2 minutes, you exercise as hard as you can for 30 seconds, and you recover for 90 seconds, repeating this 7 times. And you again cool down for 2 minutes. So you complete the peak 8 20 minutes 2 times a week, and complete the peak 8 10 minutes 1 time a week. So it's still that 3 times a week, in regards to what the CDC was recommending. However, this is going to cause more caloric burn because it's using anaerobic exercise, which is breaking down glucose, which again breaks down longer and after the actual exercise has been undertaken. Now, someone who isn't able to do an aerobic or anaerobic, we're talking about someone who maybe has a hip replacement or has bad knees or things like that. Flexibility is the next best thing. Okay, the ability to be flexible in regards to anything is allowing your body still to be in that motion, that life is motion, to stop you having that physical inability that's going to lead you to metabolic dysfunction, which is going to lead you to metabolic disorder. So what we're looking to try and show with flexibility is that what it does, it improves mobility, it improves posture, and increases range of motion. It also reduces the risk of soreness and injury. Now, this is not only just for people who can't do an anaerobic or aerobic exercise, but it's also going to allow your people who, it will also help in regards to people who do that in order to reduce that risk of soreness and injury. So again, my friend Brow was able to come up with these examples here. I have a whole plethora of it. But as you can see in these videos just here, he's just using a simple resistance band in order to do some lateral pulls. Okay? And then similarly, you can see he's doing a lateral row. So all this working together is showing you the flexibility and how easily it really is. That'll, again, increase mobility, increase range of motion, increase flexibility, still getting that motion into your life and allowing you the ability to still exercise, but not in such a high intensity or even an exercise that's going to require you to have lots of oxygen in order to go through it. Lastly is something called proprioception and balance. So as we age, we start to see a decrease in balance and stability. Doing these exercises regains or maintains them, keeping proprioceptors firing throughout the body and firing at their best. Now, proprioception is change, all right? So proprioception, if I'm going to describe it to anybody, is the fact that if you're walking down the hallway and it's dark at night and you need to go to the bathroom, as you're walking down the hallway, you don't need to turn the light on because you notice things in change. You notice things that have changed your perception of what's going on. Now, you know that the fact that the doorknob is on the left-hand side, there is the dog's bed on the right-hand side, stuff like that. So you notice how things change in regards to it. Also, another example is if you close your eyes, take your finger and point towards your nose, you notice the fact that things change, but you know where your finger, your nose are and how to get there. That's what proprioception is. So it's your ability to notice change. So one way that we're able to continue with our balance and our proprioception and keep them firing neurologically is to do a few different things. Some include one-leg balances, one-leg three-way kick, cone pickups, reverse lunges, bird dogs, a tree pose, tightrope walking, and then doing banded toe taps if you have them. Now, all these exercises don't exert much energy. They don't need much, but it's an ability to keep proprioception and balance still functioning in our body. Tagging that in with the fact that flexibility is a great way in order to not have to do anything high intensity or anything that needs to exert a whole bunch of energy requiring oxygen, such as running and swimming. That allows you to still keep motion to life, which again increases physical activity, which stops the metabolic dysfunction, which is going to slow down metabolic disorder. So one of the biggest things that we're looking for in regards to chiropractic care and for athletes is what it actually brings. So we're looking now in regards to not just the exercise, but what chiropractic care can bring to the exercise. So correcting the cause of the original issue via chiropractic care reduces the need for medications, for instance. You see so many sports stars, so many athletes, so many people that use exercise use so many NSAIDs and over-the-counter medicines in order to try and decrease pain and soreness and things like that. Chiropractic actually care can help with that. Faster recovery when it comes to concussions and head-related injuries. We can touch on that in a few minutes. Reduced muscle inhibition is one of the biggest things in regards to what chiropractic care does. Overall increased range of motion when it comes to instrument-based sports and provides a non-invasive option to prolong the need for surgery and ultimately reduce injury time. Now, I'm going to show you in regards to that what I mean by that. Chiropractic care throughout sport is huge. And so here's an example or multiple examples of how chiropractic care has changed the way that sport has revamped itself in regards to injury and in regards to exercise and how to go about things, and how chiropractic care can really assist in regards to those athletes out there. Now, one example is for baseball. Now, one of the studies that I found is based upon the fact of how chiropractic care, or patients that were under chiropractic care for 12 weeks within baseball, had 30% increase in hand-eye coordination. Now, imagine the fact that if you had a batting average of, let's say it was, I don't know, 220. Now, what if we could raise that 30%? It'd be pretty huge, right? I mean, I'm sure anyone would take that. So the fact of increasing our hand-eye coordination in order to get your results on the field increased is huge. Running, we found a study in regards to 100% of runners with joint problems reported symptom reduction, were able to maintain or increase their training mileage. Huge. You'd love to be able to run further, wouldn't you? You'd love to be able to run faster, wouldn't you? It's massive. One of the coolest studies I saw was actually done through the Olympics, and was a martial arts study that national level judo athletes developed 16% stronger grip after just 3 sessions of chiropractic care. Think about it. 3 sessions of chiropractic care, gaining 16% stronger in grip in order for their competition to grow, which means better results, which means more medals, which means better opportunities. Huge, huge stuff. What you're seeing in regards to it when it comes to tennis, you got 50% reduction in discomfort from tennis elbow. Tennis elbow being the fact that it's hitting the epicondylitis, which is on the outside of your elbow. Massive the fact that we're reducing by half. Hockey in relation to long-term injury, 80% reductions. Golf, improved swing dynamics by 90%. Imagine that you wanted to drive the ball further, or you were able to improve your putting stroke just by chiropractic care. It'd be huge, wouldn't it? The fact that we're able to assist with that when it comes to chiropractic care and the benefits you can get, not only in regards to your life, when it comes to, say, your sports injuries and things like that, but the fact of function and increasing scores, bettering results is massive. In soccer, increased mobility, balance, and speed after 8 weeks of care. That's massive. So I want you to ask yourself a question, okay? Is your spine and nervous system essential with exercise? What if nerves aren't firing properly for a workout to be as successful? And what if we could track it? Well, the answer to them is yes. Yes, it is essential. You may not get the results that you deserve, and we can check it. We can show you how the difference works. In relation to the examples I gave you earlier, what you saw in regards to those studies, I've actually got someone here in our own office that has been a bit of a test subject for me. And I've shown that in regards to what our substation shows, the effect upon your nervous system. The substation is actually using an EMG scan. Now, this segmental EMG measures how your motor nerves are working, controlling muscles and movement. The more your muscles contract, the more electroactivity. We're able to measure the amount of spasms or weakness that your body has based on the nervous system, the stress on your nervous system that it has. These disturbances come from the misalignments of your spine being out of place, putting pressure upon the nervous system. When that happens, that means the tone of the muscle is either going to be increased or decreased. It's going to affect you either way. Increase, most people would say, is a good thing, but what if it's increased in the wrong way? What if it's decreasing in the wrong way too? That's why it's really important to check. That way we're able to see if muscles are weaker, tighter, or fatigued. We're able to show how people improve over time. So most people, when they go see a chiropractor, they're looking to try and see where the bone sits. Misalignment of the spine, turn and rotate, causing an impact upon the nervous system. That's really nice because we get to actually see that in a hardware sense. However, this scan allows us to show you the software sense, what it's actually causing the nervous system to do and respond with. So here is my test subject, all right? We have a 17-year-old patient here who is in lower back pain. It's interrupting her dance and theatre practice. So she came into us in regards to trying to see what's going on with her body. She was trying to try out for her theatre, her performance in regards to the musical and plays, but also does interpretive dance, does ballet, all those sort of things. As you can see on the scan on the left-hand side, her raw score was at 68. You see all those red lines. The darker the red, the longer the strip of red is. That's also how deep it is, but also how much it's been affected. After 6 weeks, we went back and rescanned her. As you can see, the red lines have started to decrease. They started to become white. They're less frequent. And you're also seeing them start to disappear. Similarly, you're about to see in regards to what's happened with her, with her thermal scan. On the left-hand side was her initial. So the thermal scan on the left-hand side shows us the temperature differences between either side, rolling from the base of her spine to the top. As you can see, the raw score is a 76. We took it from a 76 to a 97. As you can see at the very top of her spine on the right-hand side, there is a huge red line that was impacting her nervous system at the very top. So even though the fact that she had lower back pain, the first bone in her neck was being affected, which is causing a trickle-down effect to her body. As you can see, you take it from 76 to 97, causing a massive change in regards to it. Lastly, what we're seeing here is how her scores changed when it came to her stress adaptability. Now, one of the coolest things that we can see is how well your body is dealing with the stresses of life. Now, stress to most people is the fact of work, family, money, things like that. What we're seeing here on the left-hand side is how her autonomic and her sympathetic and her parasympathetic nervous system is responding. Parasympathetic is your rest and digest. Sympathetic is your fight or flight. Imagine them as your sympathetic, your gas pedal, and your parasympathetic, your brake pedal. They have to be even. You can't go flying down the highway with no brakes. You also can't be smashing the brake every time you go through. You have to have balance. As you can see before, when she came in, she was sitting at an 89, which is a really nice score. However, we were able to take her score from an 89 to a 98. So nearly getting her nervous system and that balance to be at nearly 100%, landing smack bang in the middle, so she has that perfect balance, meaning she can deal with stress as she goes forward. It's really, really cool in regards to the results that we saw from 6 weeks ago. The fact that she not only had her symptoms change, the fact that she had lower back pain, but it was interrupting her dance and her theatre practices. So the very physical nature of her sport, which was dance, the fact that it was impacting her and how she was going to go about it. So it was really cool to see massive change in regards to not only her initial problem coming from lower back, but also the fact of how well she was doing when it came to her physical output of dance and theatre, which in the end she was able to perform very well, seeing the show myself, and was able to go on with her life and actually do the goals and things that she wants to achieve. So seeing how chiropractic, not only in exercise but in sport, and how they relate to each other. So with that, I like to say, and how I like to finalize things is the fact you have to activate your power. You can go a month without food, you can go days without water, you can go months without air, but you can't go 1 second without your nervous supply. You have to have your nervous supply working. That's where chiropractic care can come in, make the effect of what's going on, get your body properly working, allowing it to exercise, not only be fit, but also healthy. And so allowing your body to optimize and to work optimally in regards to everything you want to achieve in life. I'd thank you all for coming tonight. There are resources in regards to it. If you'd like any more information, please give Brow a call. There is a free session in regards to it. Thank you once again. Please join us for next month as we go into what's talking about allergies and how you can be free of spring fever. Look forward to seeing you guys next time.